yourselves, you've got women, children. We could pitch in, make this place livable. It doesn't work like that. These Varl are here to get away from civilization, not make one. It's Krumer's call. It won't be long before Dredge are here too. No, it won't. If there's one thing we should do, it's tell Jorundr what's going on. Who's Jorundr? Ah, the Varl king. Yeah, I know that because of our other group. Well, as close to one as we have. Ingvar, where did you find these people? Stay here and rest, but once yours are ready to go, we do. I'm going to see off those who want to head north, but I'll join you to Grofheim. More travel? No, we've already come so far. Stop the pouting, girlie. Even if Jorundr won't listen to a tired old Varl like me, I have a feeling they'll pay attention to your friend Ingvar here. They'll listen to Iver? He hasn't told you yet? Of course he hasn't. Do what you need to, but don't be long. So he's definitely someone important. Iver is someone important, interesting, and he hasn't been telling us. That's cool. We've had an important Varl off on the side. First thing we're going to do is look at the market. Yeah, it's telling us to do everything. We're going to look at the market first. Nice, one renown gets 4. I knew I saved up for a reason. And we can't, so what's this? This is curious carving that conjures, plus 10% chance to essentially to crit, and one more drawing aggro. Who do I have doing strength damage? Do I have anyone who just hits for strength? Do I have anyone who just hits for strength? Yeah, do I have anyone who's like a big strength guy? So we've got, he's an armor breaker. He's an armor breaker. He's a low strength kind of guy. He's pretty low strength. She, oh wow, excuse me, doesn't really hit for pure strength. He could, but that's not what I've been focusing him on. I've been focusing him on this this armor break for his ability there. So yeah, I don't think that item will do us any good. It's a good item, but not for this group. If we could put it on one of the people in our other group, we'd be set. Oh, we have so little renown too. No one is up for promotion, so I think we actually just buy all the supplies we can get. Because that's a lot of supplies. Up to 20 days from what were we at? Like 4 per is really good. And going up to 20 days of supplies from 14. Was it 14? 12. So we could buy 8 days of supplies. That's really good. I think that's really worth it. Because that gives us a lot of time to rest later on, to be better prepared for fights. It lets us get morale back up. It lets us do a lot. This gives us a lot of wiggle room. More so than these things. Like, these things are probably really good. Let's see, 2 strength resist plus 1 will per kill. That's fantastic. But I have no one level 5 and I don't have 25 extra renown. Plus 3 will on rest. Wow. Interesting. Interesting. But I have no one who's level 4, so despite how good this might be, I have to pass on it. And I think I should just buy all the supplies I can to give myself some wiggle room. No need to rest because we're good on morale. And we don't want to waste these supplies that we just got. Let's talk to him. Krumer, can you spare a moment? Mostly no, but I'll try. I never had a moment to thank you for your hospitality. Consider it done then. How did you get all these Var to follow you? So who's Ingvar? I bet you have some incredible stories. I'd best leave you to your business. Well, I want to talk to him, so I'm not going to just leave him to his business. Do I want to say, how did you get all these Varl to follow you? Or, so who is Ingvar? Or I bet you have some incredible stories. I want to say all of it. But I'm going to start with, I bet you have some incredible stories. I might. Or I could be the most boring Varl you ever met. Depends on how much you like killing Dredge. Ask me again someday. I might tell you about the time we filled a dead Yox with whale teeth. And why. How did you get all these Varl to follow you? Respect. After the Second Great War, wasn't much left for me to do, so I started training other Varl to fight. Got tired of that, made a place in Wormtoe. They still come calling, even with no wars to speak of. Seems like that might be changing, though, don't it? Yep, seems like it will. Any wisdom on fighting Dredge? Depends on how much you know. They're all armor. Tap them hard enough, though, and it'll shatter. Line up a whole row of slag, and they'll explode on each other all the way down. Yes, that much I did know. You get in a big brawl, half your time is spent setting them up for it. Oh! So it's worthwhile taking time to set them up for a big chain reaction. And if you see one bang his axe like a tuning fork, try to kill him quick. Yep. So who is Ingvar? I'm not surprised he never told you. I'm just surprised he can stand being around anyone at all. Your friend was one of us long ago. I mean, the dredge-bashing type. He was called Ingvar then. And if you want to know why he changed his name, best to ask him yourself. I'm too old to peddle and gossip. I best leave you to your business. I suppose you should. Take care, friend of Ingvar. I like it. Cool. Let's go ahead and leave. Some will head north. Grofheim's quite a few days out, but nothing worse than crossing the wastes, I imagine. If there's anywhere you might be safe from dredge, it's there. You steel yourself for another long march, and half the town of Wormtoe joins you. 62 Varl, nice! And 20 more supplies. Okay, very good. This is a very good margin for taking care of this. Yeah, with 62 Varl and 85 fighters, we can do a good deal of damage. Large patch of wild fruit. When you approach, you see some people have begun to sample them. A mother frets about whether they're safe after overhearing one of the children say it tastes funny. Others start gathering by the basketful. This is a hard decision. This is the kind of decision of why I'm not actually a leader. I feel like the rest of the stuff I've done okay on, but like this right here, like, fuck. The safe thing to do is just discourage everyone from eating it, but that looks, you know, so closed-minded and so wasteful. Observing someone who already ate some is cold. Offering one of the animals is cruel. Immediately gathering is foolish. And taking a bite myself is too haphazard. All of these are bad options. All 5 of these are bad options. So I have to pick the best of the 5. Considering our situation. Now we're pretty good on supplies, but having more is always better. Saving some supplies would give us even more wiggle room, would allow us to do more resting, would allow us to always fight at full strength, and always fight at good morale instead of just normal morale. But it's so risky. Some have already eaten, so I think observing those who have already eaten, yeah, is the safest play to see, okay, are they still okay? And if they're okay, so like, let's wait. Let's stick here for a second and see how it's going. Yeah, I think we have to observe them. I think you're right. I think observing someone who already ate is the play. After a short time, you note the slurred speech of a young man partaking of the fruit. Besides a little drunk, he seems perfectly fine. Yeah. Now the question, though, Kurambies and straight up Brian. Now that we've seen that it might just be alcoholic of some kind, do we take a bite ourselves to confirm? Or do we... all 3... So at this point, it's, again, a very strange decision to make. I think the smartest thing to do, as strange as it might seem, is to take a bite myself. Yeah, exactly. Straight up, Brian, you're with me. I saw your message came up right as I said it. I think going ahead, taking a bite, and showing that, okay, either it is definitely okay, or I can now say with certainty, because of my own experience, that it is not. That will give me some authority with which to speak towards this, because just discouraging them seems silly now. But gathering as much as I can is just reckless. I think I should take a bite myself. Several watch as you taste the fruit. You pause after swallowing and faint choking, but your laughter soothes everyone's concerns. Soon everyone is a little tipsy from the fermented fruit, and spirits are high. Perfect. Perfect. You die. Game over. No, mind's eye. No. But we got 12 more supplies, which didn't even really count. Oh, it counted for 2 extra days, I think. And all is well. Let's go ahead and immediately rest before we come across anything else. Let's get up to good morale. Now that we've bought ourselves some extra time with extra supplies, how many days? Okay, we're up to good morale. Let's get an extra day of good morale, because we're probably about to come on a fight. My intuition is tingling. We're about to hit a fight at the end of this day, so being on good morale for that is going to be good. Gives us a little bit of extra willpower in the fight. An old man sits astride an overgrown portion of the trail. You lost, he asks? Of course they have a lot of morale. They're drunk. Exactly. All right, he adjusts the leather strap on his head and says, "No, are you?" He jumps up and shuffles toward the caravan, his tattered clothes revealing no weapons. "Well, I've seen better," the old man says, peering into the supply wagons, "but I'll join you." He stands next to a fighter, throws his beard over his shoulder, and puffs up his chest. The fighter grins and the stranger exhales, asks, "What are you waiting for? Lead the way." Who are you and what are you doing out here? "Call me Unar, or anything else you like. A man goes where he pleases, doesn't he?" His stern look is more comical than intimidating, but you stop looking for answers. "You're welcome to join if you can keep pace." "Keep pace?" The old man puffs through his mustache. "No fleeter than old Unar. And husbands, mind your wives. I'm cursed with the golden tongue, not silver." The caravan enjoys a good laugh, and they start moving once again. I like him. I like him. It's a good time for it, too, now that we have good morale at this moment. It's a good time for him to show up. I wonder how much morale affects encounters. I'd be willing to bet that it has some effect. Okay, let's encounter something before the end of this day. Now we're back in good. Of course it happens right on the next day when we're down to good morale. Jeez, of course that would happen to me. It's another Godstone, though. Let's see which one this is. It's an interesting thing to think about. This game is so complex that I wouldn't doubt it at all. The Godstone of Merrick looms into view. Upon it carved a great ocean beast. Jagged stones jut out of the snow like shark fins. It's hard to imagine the Nordfelling wastes being once filled with water, but the Godstone stands as a reminder of the vast lake it used to look across. Oh yeah, and that's what, so at the bottom of that was the other Godstone of the sun. "A blessing," shouts one of the men in your cavern, holding up what looks like a silver coin. "It's a fish scale," he says, pointing out the rainbow pattern. "Soon a curious child has found another hiding in the snow, and then a third is discovered. Perhaps they'll bring us luck, you over here," and before long the caravan has become obsessed with gathering the shining scales. Letting the caravan take their time would probably increase morale by a bunch, but it would definitely waste time, probably waste some supplies. I think cutting them off after a reasonable amount of time is the thing. So show that I am in support of the people, but that I'm also aware of the responsibilities we have. When you awake to find people still searching through the snow and shrubs, you call it off. "We can't spend another day here," you tell them. "Be glad up for the luck you found, and let's go before it runs out." They fret and moan, but eventually you get back. Okay, yeah, I feel like that's good. That's understandable. We've gotten some good luck, and we can move forward. We've got good morale again for another day. So hopefully a battle comes at the end of this day. Man, I love this world. The lore here is so cool. Oddleaf calls you over, grinning. A row of women holding bows, differing age and experience, line up before a row of trees. They fire, doing an impressive job. I think they're ready to fill some dredge with feathers. Nice. So that should change some of our clansmen into fighters. One woman still hasn't shot her arrow. She stands perfectly still. The other watch. Just as the winds shift, she lets go. Her arrows fly. Her arrow flies not into one of the trees, but a snow rabbit that had scurried out from underneath. "Dinner," she says, smiling. "Very nice." A group of men from the caravan approach. "Listen here," says one. "Practice all you want. My wife isn't fighting dredge." The other men agree in chorus. "We don't want to see a battlefield full of dead wives and daughters." Oh, this is harsh. I think I will. So if it were just type in your own option and do what it says, I would say allow it to be up to the women. You know, it's not for the men to decide who can come out and fight. I'd say the women who want to fight can, but of course no woman is required to fight in any way. And I think that's what 2 is going to be. I think stand by the women becoming fighters is going to be that kind of answer. Yeah. See, you're with me, Kurambias. Yeah. So I hope that it doesn't. Yeah, I hope that it doesn't end up being I end up forcing some women into fighting who don't want to. But I'm definitely going for 2. The men argue their point, but eventually relent. "Thanks," says Oddleaf. "To be honest, it was harder than I expected, but the more people who can hold their own, the better." So we're going from 390